has the Pulitzer Prize for Foreign Reporting. Thank you, and Azmat.
This is such an honor. I am so honored to be here with you today, and especially to be here with everyone who's standing on these steps. It's officially been 6 years since I began the project that gave the rise to the civilian casualty files. To spend so long on one subject, one that is far from uplifting, was only possible because I believe, as my editors do, that every American deserves to be informed about the wars waged in their names, about what our government knows about how those wars are truly going, about who is paying the human costs, and about whether claims of accountability and surgical warfare really ever stack up. The air wars America wages today represent a fundamental transformation of warfare, one which the United States traded troops on the ground for an arsenal of aircraft, high-flying drones, and precision weapons. It meant that fewer Americans are dying in our wars, but also that the human toll has shifted to foreign populations. With the push of a button, perpetuated and forgotten more easily than ever before. The civilian casualty files spurred impact I never could have imagined, and none of it would have been possible without key people. More than anyone, I owe an enormous debt to the hundreds of Iraqis, Syrians, and Afghans who opened up their homes and bared their hearts. They had little to personally gain from doing so, but they did it in the hopes that their voices would make a difference. There's another group of sources I rarely talk about in any detail because doing so puts them at risk. For years, the United States has prosecuted whistleblowers who shared what they witnessed. There are a number of senior officials, officers, pilots, and imagery analysts who helped me throughout this process to make sense of the documents and much more. They've done a profound service for their country. No institution in the world has the editors that the Times does, and in my eyes, no one has better editors than I do. The work first found a home at the New York Times Magazine in 2017 because Luke Mitchell saw its potential, and he and Jake Silverstein shared my vision and helped it come alive. Most editors would have asked me to move on from airstrikes after 2 years, but they didn't. There's so much I could say about them, but I want to hone in on an example that they set. The work I do can take an emotional toll, something that you might know if you listen to me cry on the daily. And Luke and Jake were so supportive every step of the way. Every writer should be so lucky. At the newspaper, I had the good fortune to be edited by Paul Fischletter. I learned so much from him. It is no surprise that Paul has edited more Pulitzer Prize-winning packages than perhaps any editor in Times history. He's a master. Matt Purdy brought the full force of the Times' investigative heft to the files and spearheaded the commitment to airstrikes across the newsroom. Collaborations with Dave Phillips, Eric Schmidt, Haley Willis, and many others ensued. My beat had been a lonely one for years, but the Times changed that. To get more specific, Dean Bacate changed that, ushering in a collaboration across the magazine, the paper, the daily, the visual investigations team, the audio team, and Arabic translation, graphics, and design. So many other institutions help invest in this work, and I'd just like to take a moment to tell you a little bit about them. The Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press represented me in years-long lawsuits against the Pentagon and U.S. Central Command, which remain ongoing. New America, the Carnegie Corporation, and the Gumshoe Group provided essential support, funding, and intellectual community. On the ground in Iraq with me last year was Momin Mohanad. Even though he was still a student at the University of Mosul's Department of Translation, he knocked on doors with me in more than 35 different neighborhoods of Mosul. He did simultaneous translation during incredibly tough, moving interviews. he still managed to graduate first in his class at the University of Mosul. Former students from my conflict reporting course at Columbia Journalism School played key roles in digitizing the records, making them searchable, and helping to analyze them in a database I built. Laila Hassan, a brilliant investigative journalist, Jeff Parrott, a veteran who has so carefully thought about our wars, and Hiba Yazbek, who's now actually at the Times' Jerusalem bureau. Others who contributed included Abdul Hadi Patmal in Afghanistan, Ali Uthman, Abdullah Abdul Qadir, Mahmoud Zaki in Iraq, as well as Abby Cheeseman, Zainab al-Fakhri, and Leila Barghouti. I can't tell you what it means to have this recognized and to get to work with the team that you're seeing standing here today. 9/11 changed how many institutions and newsrooms look at what's classified and what we're told is off limits. I truly believe that this collaboration is a radical transformation in the way that we report about war. Most of all, military officials have been calling what we've seen, the civilian casualties we've seen in wars across the world, tragic errors, but our reporting, these series, Dave Phillips, Eric Schmidt, the incredible visual investigations team, showed a pattern of impunity. I'm so grateful to share this with all of you. Thank you so much.